America was not built on freedom. It was built on land and on who controlled it first. Because 200 years ago, this country was nothing but farms, dirt roads, wooden houses, and open soil that seemed endless. Land was cheap, sometimes almost free, and the government treated it not as wealth, but as a tool to expand power westward, giving it away through laws like the Homestead Act, while most people believed the reward would go to those who worked the land. But history quietly chose different winners, not the farmers, not the laborers, but the speculators who understood that land itself does not create wealth, location does. And when railroads arrived, they did not just connect cities, they transferred wealth on a massive scale, because the government handed millions of acres to railroad companies, who made far more money selling land near the tracks than running the trains themselves, turning empty fields into future cities overnight. And as railroads expanded, farms slowly lost importance, while cities became engines of concentrated demand. Factories pulled workers in, workers needed housing, housing needed land, landowners raised prices, so the farmer could earn a living, the landowner could earn generations. And by the late 1800s, land in places like New York and Chicago was already more valuable than gold, not because of what stood on it, but because of what could stand on it, until land became so expensive that America faced a new problem. How do you create more land when there is none left? And the answer was to build upward, turning steel into a financial weapon, because skyscrapers were never about ambition or pride. They were about squeezing infinite profit out of a single plot of land, every extra floor multiplying rent, power, and control, locking wealth vertically into concrete. And banks understood this faster than anyone else, demanding land as collateral, knowing that if builders failed, the land would always survive, quietly making banks some of the largest landholders in the country. And when the Great Depression hit and everything else collapsed, land did not disappear. Millions lost homes while banks acquired property through foreclosure, marking the first massive reset upward. And after World War II, the pattern repeated through suburban expansion, where zoning laws quietly decided who could live where and who would build wealth, transforming land into a gatekeeper, while renters unknowingly funded appreciation they would never own, until Wall Street completed the takeover by turning land into a financial product through REITs, allowing hedge funds, pensions, and global capital to own American cities without ever touching them, converting homes from shelter into assets, skyscrapers into cash flow machines, and ownership into something invisible. And when the 2008 housing crisis arrived, people thought the system had failed, but it didn't fail, it concentrated. As millions lost homes and institutions bought entire neighborhoods, creating a generation of permanent renters trapped in rising costs while wages stood still. Because rent is not just payment, it is extraction. Money flowing every month from workers to owners of land they will never control, pushed higher by luxury towers that raise surrounding values and price out those who built the city's labor, slowly erasing the middle class by replacing ownership with access and security with vulnerability, tying people down with mortgages, rent, and debt that limit movement and risk, until younger generations realized they were not lazy or late, but locked out of a game already finished. And while many still wait for another crash to reset everything, the truth is that land systems do not collapse, they harden. Because governments depend on property taxes, banks depend on mortgages, funds depend on rent, and too much power is anchored to the ground itself. So the future city will not be owned by its residents, but accessed by them through permanent renting and subscription living, while skyscrapers rise not as symbols of progress, but as evidence of pressure, proof that land has been fully captured. And the winners of tomorrow are already chosen, the institutions, the funds, the families who arrived early, because time always sides with ownership, and America will not break under land inequality. It will normalize it, creating...
For complete and in-depth information, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't